one of the biggest stories yesterday, headlines everywhere. Pope Francis sat down with 60 Minutes and supposedly said that we need to take in all the immigrants and conservatism is suicidal and people are fundamentally good, apparently contradicting scripture. And this was all the headlines, and you saw it not just from the libs, you also saw it from conservatives, you also saw it from Christians. And so I thought, okay, I know that sometimes the Papa Francesco's comments to the newspapers are a little bit confusing, but I said, I don't really buy it. I got to watch this interview myself. I watched the whole interview, and the headlines simply are misleading. Just on those 3 points. Immigration, we need to take on all the immigrants. Conservatism is suicidal. People are fundamentally good. What does Pope Francis actually say on immigration?
My grandparents were Catholic, immigrated from Northern Ireland in the 1930s to the United States, seeking a better life. And I know your family too fled fascism. And you have talked about, with migrants, many of them children, that you encourage governments to build bridges, not walls.
Migration is something that makes a country grow. They say that you Irish migrated and brought the whiskey, and that the Italians migrated and brought the mafia. It's a joke. Don't take it badly. But migrants sometimes suffer a lot. They suffer a lot.
Based? Not to sound too Zoomer about it, but the headline, Pope Francis says you need to take in all of the migrants. And what does he say? He goes, yeah, look, these migrants, they suffer a lot. And when you Irish came over to America, you brought booze. And when the Italians came over, they brought the mafia. Yeah, I'm just joking. But, those migrants, they bring some problems, don't they? So, I don't know. It seems like everything he said there is totally fine. And then even when he says, look, when migrants show up to the border, they need to be received. But he follows that up by saying, and then you got to send some of them home, maybe. It's not just that you're going to keep them there forever. You have to receive them, hear their requests, and then you're going to send some of them home. So if you just take the Pope's words here, not the headlines and not the leading questions, I don't disagree with a single syllable. Migrants suffer. They often bring a lot of pretty serious problems, and we're going to hear them out and then send a bunch of them home. Yeah, okay, I agree. This is like when you read the headlines about Pope Francis on the social issues. People will say he's a little soft on the Rainbow Coalition, the LGBT, LMNOP. That came up during the interview. Here is what Pope Francis had to say about LGBT unions.
Last year, you decided to allow Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples. That's a big change. Why?
No, what I allowed was not to bless the union. That cannot be done because that is not the sacrament. I cannot. The Lord made it that way. But to bless each person, yes. The blessing is for everyone. For everyone. To bless a homosexual type union, however, goes against the given right, against the law of the church.
Based again? So, you, Pope Francis, you said that gay marriage is super fun and great and cool, huh? And the Holy Father responds, he says, no, I didn't. It's disordered and God can't bless sin, and it is not possible for me to bless a same-sex union. I bless individuals, but that's always been the case. And so, yeah, we bless individuals, of course, but whatever LGBT agenda you're trying to cram down our throats, ain't what we're doing. Then he says basically the same thing about surrogacy. He says surrogacy is evil. You can't do it. Can't buy people. Now, the most troublesome thing that Papa Francesco said during this interview was he criticized conservatism as suicidal.
You used an adjective, conservative. That is, conservative is one who clings to something and does not want to see beyond that. It is a suicidal attitude. Because one thing is to take tradition into account, to consider situations from the past, but quite another is to be closed up inside a dogmatic box.
Okay. I humbly would suggest that perhaps what in the Holy Father's discussion of political philosophy here, he is reminding us that the Pope is fallible except when he's infallible. Okay? And that the Pope, this is misunderstood by many people, including Christians. Papal infallibility does not mean that anything the Pope says has to be 100% true. You know, if he comes out and says this rice pilaf is really spicy, but you find out it's not spicy, that doesn't contradict papal infallibility. When he's speaking on matters of faith and morals ex cathedra, then he is infallible. When he's giving his view of political conservatism, which perhaps is missing a few parts, okay, that's just an opinion. No one's suggesting that Pope Francis is the most right-wing or, conservative pontiff that we've ever had. But so what? Even Catholics, I'm quite a mackerel-snapping papist, doesn't mean that every single syllable on any topic under the sun that the Pope utters has to be 100% gospel truth. That is not and has never been what papal infallibility means. Right now, go to hallow.com/Knowles. It would be easy to just toss all of your discipline aside for the summer. But a life of greatness does not happen by taking the easy route. The Hallow app offers an incredible range of guided meditations and prayers that are designed to help you deepen your spirituality and strengthen your connection to God. With Hallow, you can embark on a journey of exploration, diving into different themes and types of prayer and meditation. From gratitude to forgiveness, each session offers a unique experience, sparking your curiosity and deepening your spiritual understanding. Choose different lengths of meditation to fit your schedule, whether you have a few minutes or an hour. With its user-friendly interface and hundreds of guided meditations, the Hallow app has quickly become a go-to resource for people seeking spiritual growth and healing. You can download the app for free at hallow.com/Knowles, Knowles. It allows you to set prayer reminders and track your progress. Hallow will transform the way that you connect with your faith on a deeper level. Don't lose your prayer habits in this summer. Maintain your peace and deepen your relationship with God on Hallow. Download the Hallow app today at hallow.com/Knowles, hallow.com/Knowles for an exclusive 3-month free trial of all 6,000 plus prayers and meditations. The biggest controversy that came out of Pope Francis's 60 Minutes interview is Pope Francis said that man, the heart, is fundamentally good.
That so-and-so is a sinner. Me too, I am a sinner. Everyone. The gospel is for everyone. If the church places a customs officer at the door, that is no longer the Church of Christ. Everyone.
When you look at the world, what gives you hope?
Everything. You see tragedies, but you also see so many beautiful things. You see heroic mothers, heroic men who have hopes and dreams, women who look to the future. That gives me a lot of hope. People want to live, people forge ahead, and people are fundamentally good. We are all fundamentally good. Yes, there are some rogues and sinners, but the heart itself is good.
Okay, this was the most controversial part because a lot of people pointed out that in Genesis we read that the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. And a lot of people were saying that what Pope Francis says here contradicts original sin, that actually man is totally evil, totally depraved, he's not fundamentally good. How could you say that? Just read Genesis. It says the imagination of his heart's evil from his youth. Okay, hold up. I understand how it's a little bit confusing. And there's a big focus on those verses. However, we also read that some people are righteous in the Bible. Noah is righteous in the Bible. In the Epistle to the Romans, we read, "He who does right is righteous as he is righteous." We read in the Psalms of a distinction between the just and the unjust, the righteous and the wicked. We read in lots of other places in the Bible verses that would seem to contradict the notion that man is totally depraved and totally evil. So what is Pope Francis saying? When he says people are fundamentally good, what he's saying, I don't think I'm being too rosy here, I think this is just kind of basic Catholic and traditionally Christian teaching, is that God doesn't create evil. So God created man as good. His creation was good. He looked on his creation and saw his creation was good. And man abused his free will and did evil and disobeyed God. And so we have a fallen world where sin and death pervade the world. But that does not mean that man's fundamental, first, primary goodness is totally blotted out. That is a view that is held by Calvinists. That is a view that emerged in the 16th century with the Protestant revolutionary John Calvin. I have the line here in the Institutes of the Christian Religion. Calvin writes, "The will is so utterly vitiated and corrupted in every part as to produce nothing but evil." So Calvinists would believe that. But is it surprising that Pope Francis is not a Calvinist? I don't think so. I don't think it is. So even there, I don't. Everyone's accusing him of contradicting Catholic teaching, Christian teaching. I just don't really see it. It's a little bit confusing, and the confusion is amplified by unfortunate liberal journalists. But that's why you got to dig below those headlines sometimes and see what is actually being said. There, it's really hard to disagree with anything. That was a great clip, huh? Now, if you ring that bell, you'll get more great clips. We'll see you next time.